NTR.
Zijn eigen grootvader was een immigrant, zijn echtgenote ook. Maar als het om immigratie gaat, legaal en illegaal, is de grens wat Donald Trump betreft zo langzamerhand echt bereikt. Dat was dé boodschap die hem in het Witte Huis bracht. Het land dat door immigranten is opgebouwd, is groot gemaakt, moet nu echt op slot. Er ontstond hier de afgelopen jaren een verhit debat over immigratie. En in dat debat belandde deze stad, de grensstad El Paso, waar we nu zijn, in het oog van de storm met dramatische gevolgen. Helemaal in het verste puntje van Texas ligt het epicentrum van het debat dat Amerika nu al jaren in de greep heeft. Het debat over wie er wel en wie er niet het land in mag. Met als symbool de inmiddels beruchte muur. Mexico zou er zelf voor betalen, zei president Trump. Maar de Mexicanen lachten dat weg. En dus deed deze veteraan het maar. How long were you deployed in Iraq?
It was my second deployment. I was there in 2003 during an invasion for 6 months. September 11th, our base got attacked, and that rocket landed right next to me, and instantly took my legs and my right hand.
Right.
So,
Did your Iraq experience, did it somehow influence how you looked at
I think it
stuff like this?
It made me care a little bit more about what was going on in our country. I feel a little more deeply invested into our country, and I want the best for my children's life and their future, and when they get older, I want them to have the same freedoms and everything that we have today.
Yeah, and is that why you built this?
No, the reason why I started this project was just the frustration with our government and not getting the job done. And for years we've been promised border security. 20 years we've been promised this, and every election cycle they bring it up and then they never follow through. And it seemed we started this last year. I created a GoFundMe, which raised $20 million in 20 days. So we were thinking of all the different options of what to do with the money. If we're going to give it to a charity, and instantly made sense. Yeah, let's just build the wall ourselves. This is America, and that's how this country was built on back in the day. We didn't rely on the government. We would do things ourselves.
How much wall does that buy one?
This is $8 million. This is 3/4 of a mile.
How long did it take to build this 3/4 of a mile of wall?
10 days.
10 days.
And it would have taken the government months, if not a year, to build it.
Do you expect President Trump to get reelected on this very same anti-immigration platform?
I don't think President Trump is anti-immigration at all. No one in the United States is anti-immigration.
He's letting in less legal immigrants. He's letting in less refugees from other parts of the world. I mean, that sounds like anti-immigration.
No, I think we need to control everything that's going on right now. We have a huge influx of illegal migrants coming in, a massive influx. And our country and our economic system cannot support this huge influx all at once. And people just need to use the front door. I don't think it's right, because there's people right now waiting to come to this country doing it the legal way. And if you really need to claim asylum, you can claim asylum. And if you have a clear asylum case, why are you sneaking in? Why not go through the front door if you really need to claim asylum? There's literally hundreds of illegal migrants coming across right here every single day, hundreds of them. We would sit here and watch taxis drop people off from the airport and just walk in. And so this is basically the nerve system of all the smart systems that get tied into everything else.
Ryan, fire it up.
Roy, I need to get help to push in there.
Yep.
Just don't push.
I'm gonna pull.
This is our Connex box. This is where all the control systems go. We have a camera system set up.
Check this out.
Right.
So we have these guys. I'm pretty sure they just crossed over from Mexico into the U.S.
But they are in Mexico now, right?
No, that's the U.S. They were right up against the wall earlier.
But they just crossed into the U.S.?
Yep, now they're crossing back. They came illegally into the United States and
climbing over your wall?
They didn't climb over the wall. They're on the Mexican side of the wall, but there's a little bit of land right there, which is the United States. I have no idea what they're doing. There's a lot of people who come down here and make it look like they're tourists. Like they're checking it out, and then when it gets dark, they try to send people across. They'll test the security.
If people do climb over the wall, how do they usually do it?
No one's ever climbed over this wall.
You see
How
that
do you know?
sign on the other side?
Because we have the cameras on it
24/7.
24/7.
And somebody's watching it 24/7.
Yeah, and we even have cameras online which our donors
The
can
border
watch.
is that green sign. On this side is America, the other side is Mexico.
Is there any money left now for a new wall?
Yeah,
or do you
we're gonna be
need to start fundraising again?
We're still fundraising, and we're right around 25 million now.
How much comes in on a daily basis?
It varies. We raise close to 300,000, 400,000 a month.
So this container was empty just now. Is this usually occupied? Somebody?
No, the Border Patrol can come in here, but also this pipes into their systems, and we're working with them to actually give them everything. Like they're going to take ownership of this wall
Right.
and of this system.
Right. So what would this person be doing?
He looks like he's looking at his phone.
I think he's taking a leak.
Yep, he did. You're right.
There you go.
He's standing in Mexico taking a leak into the U.S.
He's probably one of the coyotes or one of the guys who works with the cartels, the scout stuff out.
So what would
You can't do anything. The Border Patrol, they're obviously watching this too.
Right.
They'll see what's going on. But yeah, it's a cat and mouse game with these guys.
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
Veel inwoners van dit dorp aan de grens kwamen jaren geleden naar de VS omdat ze er familie hadden wonen. Ze bleven langer dan hun visum toestond en wachten nu in de schaduw op een verblijfsvergunning. Dat wachten kan wel 20 jaar duren.
Salem es una ciudad muy tranquila. El 80-90% somos hispanos. Esta comunidad siempre ha sido muy pacífica, pero recientemente que han estado haciendo muros, bardas y todo eso, eso ha aumentado mucho la inseguridad con nosotros. Hemos sentido mucho el acoso por parte de la patrulla fronteriza. Se mete a nuestras propiedades sin nuestra autorización, se violan nuestros derechos. Es muy molesto que a las 2 de la mañana esté migración con los helicópteros arriba de tu casa, echándonos los reflectores adentro, como si fuéramos criminales.
No abrir las puertas nunca, porque entonces se meten y hacen tiradero y buscan que presente uno su mica o citizen, su estatus, porque si no traen orden del juez, no pueden entrar, pero se cometen muchos abusos.
Slechts een klein stukje van de grensmuur die Trump wil bouwen staat er al. En het is bijna helemaal een versterking van een al bestaande afscheiding. Want ook zijn voorgangers zetten op sommige plekken aan de 3000 kilometer lange grens een hek neer. Zoals hier, neergezet niet door Trump, maar door Obama. Het hek heeft een gemeenschap dwars doormidden gescheurd. Want de grens bestond hier voorheen alleen op een kaart.
Primera vez que yo estoy enfrente de este muro, que yo podía ver a mi familia de qué lado de México. Y este muro está haciendo... Es primera vez que yo veo esto ahorita. Es una impresión muy... Son emociones que no esperaba estar frente de este muro.
It seems like a militarized zone. You have border patrol, you have the wall, you have militias here too.
Ellos detenían a las personas que cruzaban, los disparaban, los tenían tirados en el suelo a la temperatura, en tiempo de una temperatura de 90 grados, tirados en el suelo, niños, mujeres, grandes, en la noche, en la madrugada, a cualquier hora, los detenían y los tenían amenazando con pistolas, que no se movieran, porque si se movían les disparaban. Y esperando a que viniera una camioneta de Border Patrol para que se los llevaran.
That building, it's Mexico. I think it's a
Yes.
museum.
Oh yeah, it's the Mexican flag.
La mayoría de mi familia vive
Aquí.
ajá. Aquí viven.
Look at the
La
picture.
mayoría.
Your family is here.
Sí, aquí en esta casa verde.
A brother or a sister?
Son primos. Sí, es mi primo.
I hear a dog. I don't see a car. Hello?
No, no está nadie.
Chuy.
Hello?
Tengo años que no vengo para acá. Mis papeles se están procesando apenas. Muy triste me siento.
Hello? ¿Cómo estás?
Bien.
Bien? Hi, how are you? What's your name?
Saúl.
Saul? Where do you live?
Soy de
Vives.
Ah,
He lives next to the greenhouse.
okay. Would you like to come to the US one day?
de ahí.
To do what? Why?
¿Para hacer qué? ¿Por qué? Que quisieras venir.
Pues a estudiar allá, ¿no? Estudiar y pues me gusta mucho trabajar.
What do you think about Trump and his plans to build even more walls?
Nah, no me cae bien.
I don't like him.
Why not? ¿Por qué no?
Porque pues nomás anda buscando pleitos con otros.
También, que nadie lo quiere.
No, pues tenemos la misma cultura, somos mexicanos. Yo pienso que lo único aquí que es las políticas de él, sus ideas de él racistas, nos está dividiendo con unas barras en este momento, porque si no estuvieran ahorita nos podríamos abrazar y estar igual, porque somos iguales tú y yo.
But it must be so strange to live so close
Yeah.
and, you know.
Yeah.
So there's Border Patrol there.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, it's leaving. It's gone.
Okay, that's good.
Trump is showing Americans that we have now gotten control of our borders. It's the tremendous symbolism of the wall. There was that sense among an important minority in the country that we've got to be the ones to make the decisions about who is allowed to come and who isn't. But it's terrible harm and hardship and cruelty, but providing reassurance to his base that we are controlling our borders. One of the great challenges to watch in this new election is, can the Democrats, who are the natural party for poor folks trying to make it, can the Democrats find the words and in fact to reach at least some of the Trump voters, the people who are increasingly worried about what's happening to their country because they're not finding the jobs that their parents and grandparents had, and see this new emphasis being given to African Americans and Latinos. And no one's paying attention to me and my family, and you've got a real resentment there.
Nearly 180,000 illegal immigrants with criminal records are roaming free to threaten peaceful citizens. They are being released by the tens of thousands into our communities with no regard for the impact on public safety or resources.
That is the Santa Fe downtown bridge that connects downtown El Paso with downtown Juarez. And this is the border wall. This is the model of of Trump's iron border wall.
How long is this part?
This one actually, I believe that is between 2 and 3 miles. This border wall is more a reflection of a policy rather than an effective strategy. This is more a symbol of hate, a symbol of xenophobia. This is the anti-immigrant projection of the nation.
Now, President Obama deported a record number of
1.5
undocumented
million.
immigrants. How many?
1.5.
Right. That's more than Trump. Yet President Obama hardly seems to be getting any blame.
At least he said that he was prioritizing the deportation, like people with criminal records, things like that, and like mothers and fathers and children. I mean, were off the priority list. But he did it because of that political reasons, because he believed that if he was to be perceived as a tough on immigrants and very strong enforcement, he would have convinced some Republicans to come and join him and do a new immigration law. But now, with Trump, we never seen the presidency used as a big microphone for racism and xenophobia and white supremacy the way that this president is using it. Calling Mexicans rapists, calling them criminals, animals, an infestation. They're talking about my family, about our communities here. Like suddenly all Mexicans were rapists. The consequences of that. For many years, we never have a single case of a child dying in detention centers. And with Trump, in only 6 months, we had 7 children that died. Mexican children, Guatemalan children that die in detention centers because of dehydration, lack of medical services. We never had that situation before because simply they start not caring about the life of those children. I mean, that is the result of having a racist approach. Trump is changing the rules of the game. Before, you would actually cross that bridge and you would show up at the port of entry and say, I'm afraid, I'm fleeing violence, I want to petition for asylum. At that moment, you would be under the U.S. jurisdiction, the legal protection of the United States. You will be brought into the United States. You probably will be detained, yes, but then you would start your asylum process there within the United States. Actually, that happens almost in every country.
Right.
Trump changed that. The first thing that he did is not to allow them to come across that bridge to ask for or to petition for asylum. You will return to Mexico until they open some kind of possibility, say 5 people a day or 2 people a day, or probably none, for them to come and petition. So people is being rejected at the ports of entry. They call it metering.
Het is een onwerkelijke situatie. Want intussen is het bij de officiële grensovergang behoorlijk druk. Voor inwoners van Juarez die kunnen aantonen dat ze weer teruggaan, is een beperkt aantal visa beschikbaar. De grens die voor sommigen het eindpunt is van een levensgevaarlijke reis, is voor anderen nauwelijks een hobbel. Hello sir, what brings you to El Paso?
To my work.
Ah, work. You live in Juarez?
Yes, sir.
Where do you work?
Right here.
Do you live here or there?
I live in El Paso.
Oh, you live in El Paso.
Yes,
Are you
sir.
crossing the border now? Or?
No, I just came back.
Ah, what did you do in Juarez?
I went to go buy medicine.
Medicine?
Yes.
What for?
For, this was $10. It's Ketorolac. It was for, I have back pain.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So
No prescription or?
No prescription needed, no.
And in the US you do need prescription?
For this medication, yes, I would have needed a prescription.
What would you pay for it in the US?
$10 maybe for one of these.
And now you got what?
15.
For the same amount?
Yes.
Hi. What brings you to El Paso?
I'm going to school. I'm in college. I'm majoring in physics.
And what do you want to be eventually?
I want to become an astronaut, work for NASA.
An astronaut?
Yes. I want to explore new places, not just here on Earth.
Not just here on Earth.
I also want to explore new things.
Right. So you want to work for NASA here in Houston?
Yes, NASA, it's like plan A. But if not, maybe another space station, maybe in Italy or Russia.
Wow. And you are Mexican?
Yes, I am.
Does NASA allow astronauts from Mexico? Or
I
would you
hope
have
they
to do you need to become an American citizen?
I'm not really sure, but I think they accept Mexican people.
So you live in Juarez?
Yes.
And you go to school every day here?
I stay here in El Paso during the week to go to school. And then on weekends, I go back to Juarez with my family and friends.
What kind of, how do you get in? Do you have a student visa, or how does that work?
I do, actually. I have, it's my Mexican passport, and then there's a page especially for the visa.
Ah. So is it hard to get a student visa for?
No, not really.
So we always hear how difficult it is to cross the border, but I see hundreds of people. What kind of visa do people usually have? Some just go shopping.
For that, you just need like a border visa. It's like a card, a plastic card with your picture and stuff.
And it's very easy to obtain for people from Juarez.
It's easy, but it takes a lot of time.
Maar een visum is alleen weggelegd voor geluksvogels. En niet voor de tienduizenden asielzoekers die hun aanvraag nu gedwongen afwachten aan de Mexicaanse kant van de grens. Juarez is zo gevaarlijk dat de meeste asieladvocaten er niet naartoe willen, waardoor bijna niemand er juridische hulp heeft. Slechts een enkeling durft het aan.
I'm going to meet a client of mine. She is a Cuban refugee. She has her court date coming up. So you can see here across the street is the processing facility, which is where they will hold people when they're first apprehended. And then just across that, you have the processing center, the hieleras, or ice boxes as they're called, which is where people are detained technically for a period of time between 24 or 48 hours, but they're usually held there for longer. Unfortunately, that's where most of the deaths of migrants occur. They're essentially cages, completely overcrowded. So you'll have a space that's meant for 30 to 40 adults holding 150, 200 people.
De grenspolitie pakte vorig jaar aan de Amerikaans-Mexicaanse grens bijna 1 miljoen mensen op die zonder geldige papieren Amerika binnen wilden gaan. Naar schatting 3000 kinderen werden gescheiden van hun ouders. Ze brachten vele nachten door onder dekens van aluminiumfolie.
Official family separation, fortunately, has ended. The U.S. on paper no longer has a policy where they're separating mothers and fathers from their biological children. We see a lot of non-traditional family units coming northward, a grandmother with her grandchildren or an older brother with their minor sibling. Those are still being separated to a large extent if they're not being sent back to Mexico. I mean, the beauty of MPP is that you don't even have to deal with separating their children. You can just send them back to Mexico, right? So you can have a sick mother with 3 infants rather than having to deal with releasing them in the U.S. You send them back to Mexico.
What is MPP?
The program is called MPP, Migrant Protection Protocols, but we like to call it the Migrant Persecution Protocols because what it's essentially doing is flipping asylum, the concept of asylum, on its head. You have a situation where people are fleeing persecution, fleeing horrific violence, coming to the United States, and rather than, being able to seek asylum safely in a place of refuge, they're being sent back to one of the most dangerous parts of the world. El Paso has, I would say about 1 or 2 murders per year. If you walk across the border, a few feet away, Juarez, I believe last year had over 1,200 murders a year. So it's night and day.
El Paso, Texas, one of the safest cities in America, to Juarez, Mexico, one of the most dangerous in the world. A civilian had a greater chance of being killed in Juarez than they did in Baghdad. More than 2,000 people died violently as a result of the drug war here.
This program is entirely for a single purpose, which is deterrence, plain and simple.
Do you think it's a smart move from the Trump administration's point of view?
No, it's a brilliantly designed plan. I'll give credit to them if in terms of realizing the effects of it, it's met its stated purpose, which is deterrence. And you see that in the numbers. I mean, the decrease in the amount of people who have crossed into the border has dropped dramatically from about 6 months ago.
Wie in de tijd voor Trump in zijn asielprocedure belandde, heeft mazzel gehad en wacht de procedure af in El Paso. Het zijn mensen die altijd meer te vrezen hadden van de drugskartels dan van de immigratiedienst. Maar ze weten nu dat hun verblijf hier ineens voorbij kan zijn en ze terug moeten naar de plek die ze hebben achtergelaten uit vrees voor hun leven.
Nos secuestraron a un hijo. Fueron hasta la casa a sacárnoslo con pistola. Entonces, me lo dejaron por el río, tirado, golpeado. Pero ya lo habían golpeado mucho. Quitaron el pantalón, lo desvistieron y se lo enredaron en la cabeza. Él pensó, dijo, no, pues ya me van a dar un balazo. Porque él se fue con un migra que estaba en el bordo. Le tocó a la puerta, estaba dormido, que hasta lo asustó porque iba todo sangrado. Supuestamente cuando que ya se pasó mi hijo para este lado, lo curaron en el Thomason. Porque otro día cuando nos habló mi hijo, nos dijo, papá y mamá, sálganse inmediatamente porque me dijeron que si no, porque andaban buscando otra persona. Si no aparece esa persona nos van a dar infierno.
Nos entregamos el 1 de mayo en el Puente Libre. Sí, en el Puente Libre y en el 2013 y nos entregamos ahí con migración y ya ellos nos dieron el pase para acá para Estados Unidos.
Did you receive a political asylum?
No nos han dicho nada, ya uno de mis hijos tuvo su última corte, ya está metió apelación y pues no sabemos qué vaya a pasar. O sea, la última corte y tiene como un mes que le llegó el aviso que si quería meter apelación o quería salir fuera del país.
You are still hoping to get asylum.
Pues esperamos que...
Pues esperamos en Dios que sí, pero...
Que no
sí, yeah, right. You're still in the process.
Sí, pero dicen que aquí en Texas es muy difícil ganar los asilos.
Are you afraid of being deported?
Pues sí, tiene uno miedo que... Ya ve que uno no sabe mucho de aquí, ¿verdad? Tocan la puerta y abre uno y lo pueden llevar a uno, ¿verdad?
Yo tengo pavor, nomás de pensar en volver a México por toda la violencia que hay. Mi sueño sería un milagro que nos dejaran aquí.
Has it been different the past 2 years now that with this Trump administration?
Sí, que un día, Dios no lo quiera, ¿verdad? Él decida echar a todos los que estamos aquí pidiendo asilo. Tenemos miedo.
Het debat over immigratie en hoe je dat in goede banen leidt. Het is alsof Amerika er nooit meer vanaf komt. De ene na de andere president probeerde orde in de chaos te scheppen. En allemaal beten ze er hun tanden op stuk.
Immigration reform is a variety of things. It means controlling the borders. It means regularizing and providing citizenship to the 10 to 11 million who have been here for 20, 30 years, whose children are 100% American, who have been contributing, but are still stuck in limbo in this terrible time of where they're not citizens and they're concerned continually of being rounded up and sent back to wherever we think they're supposed to go. It's a whole series of things that says, we need to recognize that America is a nation of immigrants, and we need to find a way to recognize that. And the sad thing about America is that it's almost impossible to get any meaningful reform through the Congress.
Even Republicans, they're not saying, let's throw all the illegal immigrants out.
Right. And any rational recognition is you're not going to round up 11 million people. And these are people who have made enormous contributions. That great American belief that hard work is rewarded, it's immigrants who come and bring that and restore it every year to the American psyche.
The ideal of America is being the ideal of migration. Migration built this country. I wonder why the Pilgrims came.
Or Trump's grandfather.
Trump's grandfather. We have Ellis Island, where 18 million European immigrants came across. And they came because of the same reasons many of these people are coming. Economic reasons, persecution. And now it seems that we're forgetting that we're a nation of immigrants. We need between 200,000 to 300,000 new workers per year to sustain the pace of the economy. That Trump supporter, let's say in downtown Kansas, that become unemployed, it will never come to the fields of New Mexico to pick up tomatoes. It will never take care of the sick, build houses, build roads. They were working in the golf course and in President Trump's buildings, in the restaurants. So to believe that immigrants are not needed, it is the strange xenophobic vision of our nation that has been built by immigrants.
Zelfs als het beleid ineens een stuk strenger is, laten grote plannen zich niet wegjagen. De astronautendroom van Melissa bijvoorbeeld, die we eerder tegenkwamen aan de grens. Van een beetje tegenwind is zij niet onder de indruk.
It's a book about the 50 more important years about space exploration.
Nice.
It starts with the people who dream about it, who dream about getting there, and the actual astronauts that went to space and see everything. I like to follow their steps, be one of them, maybe.
It must be expensive to study in the US. How can you afford that?
My parents, they both work full-time jobs, so they can pay for my education and my sisters. We also had to move from a house that we had. We have to move to another cheaper so that I can study here. And
Your parents sold the house in order to allow you to study here.
Yes, but they say it's not because of that, but
You don't believe it?
And I also, by having good grades, I'm also applying for many scholarships so that I can help my parents.
And if you hear the American president talk about Mexicans, he's not talking about you. He's talking about people crossing the border and murderers and rapists. And what do you think about that kind of language?
You know, when a leader wants to become popular, they need to create like an enemy in common. So for him to get popular and get all these ratings and stuff, he needed to create an enemy in common for the American people, the Americans. So he chose us, Mexicans.
We had seen, as you know, in the last 2 years, we had seen an unprecedented attack against our communities at the US-Mexico border, especially attacks coming from the highest office of this country, family separation, children in detention, children dying in detention centers, the construction of the border wall, the rejection of refugees and asylum seekers coming from Central America or Mexico. This is going to be an election year, and everybody is going to play with the immigration card politically. And traditionally, when there's an election year, there are more attacks against our immigrant community. And all of that culminated last year, unfortunately, with the attack at Walmart, when somebody that didn't belong to our community came embracing that narrative that Mexicans, that we are criminals. This attack was a premeditated attack, but also infused by the rhetoric, unfortunately, of this administration.
Our country is full. We don't want people coming up here. Our country is full. We want Mexico to stop. But how do you stop these people? You can't. There's no...
The death toll here in El Paso rising tonight, at least 22 dead now. Law enforcement officials telling ABC News that before the chaos broke out, they believed the suspect had been looking for a good place to target and shoot Mexicans. Law enforcement officials telling us Crucius entered the Walmart on Saturday morning, first with no weapon, apparently to case it. Then they say, satisfied with what he saw, up to 3,000 shoppers inside, he left the store, armed himself, and then returned.
First I heard kids screaming, and then I started hearing like gunshots, but I couldn't associate them with gunshots. So I was like, oh wow, I wonder what's happening, you know, like maybe a fight. And I just kept on walking back, and I start hearing like everybody screaming and everybody's running. And I finally get to the back, and I turn around, and everybody, I mean, it's chaos.
Hands up, hands up! All the line out there.
I was way back in the back of the store, and a large number of people were running towards me. The shooter came in the front door, and he shot people right in the front door, and then he moved down the side of where the bank was and shot people there. And then I suddenly see these women that are bleeding from the leg, and so I went to help her because she'd been shot. And then as we took that lady and gave her to the paramedics, there were other wounded in front. I went out the front, and there were other wounded, so I was helping load those wounded onto carts because the ambulance wouldn't come down to where the entrance was.
I saw people on the floor, but I didn't pay much attention. I don't know if they were dead or just tripped out. So I ran outside the mall, and I just waited for my mom or somebody to go for me.
Al saber todo lo que había pasado, tuve miedo porque ese ataque no fue nomás a las personas que estaban dentro de Walmart, sino que fue a todas las personas que vivimos en El Paso, porque él venía ¿cómo se dice? Por mexicanos. Entonces yo al ser mexicana, pues siento ese dolor y fue una experiencia para mí horrible.
The friends of mine text me the shooter's memorandum, right, or what he wrote, the manifesto he wrote. And it was very obvious then what had happened, you know. And at least from his memorandum, it was very clear that he came to El Paso to shoot Mexicans, right? And that's what he was doing.
Raise your right hand for me, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in these proceedings shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Did you read the manifesto that he left behind?
Yeah, I saw it on Facebook.
In short, immigration can only be detrimental to the future of America. Continuing immigration will make one of the biggest issues of our time, automation, so much worse. Some sources say that in another 2 decades, our American jobs will be lost to it.
Does that hurt?
Yeah, you can say that. I mean, I'm here busting my ass. And for him to come say this, especially a rich white kid, to come over here and do this to us when we work our asses off.
Sir, you've been charged by indictment with the offense of capital murder of multiple persons. And to the indictment, sir, do you wish to enter a plea of guilty or not guilty? Not guilty. The court has entered a plea of not guilty on your behalf. We are adjourned.
This guy came down here specifically with the right-wing ideas that are being promoted nationally by groups that are closely associated, some of them, to the president.
Why do you think he picked El Paso, of all the places he could go to?
Because the president said it in the State of the Union. El Paso was never a political hotspot until he started saying it. The things he says, especially a man that powerful, should be careful with what he says. Because I can say these things and nothing's gonna happen. But somebody with his power, that pretty much can say anything he wants and the world hears it, he should be careful with what he says. He shouldn't be saying these kind of things because this is the kind of things that can happen.
The border city of El Paso, Texas, used to have extremely high rates of violent crime, one of the highest in the entire country, and considered one of our nation's most dangerous cities. Now, immediately upon its building, with a powerful barrier in place, El Paso is one of the safest cities in our country. Simply put, walls work and walls save lives.
Het geweld kwam inderdaad naar de grensstad. Maar niet vanuit de hoek waar de president het had voorspeld. Het bloedbad maakte van El Paso een nog hechtere gemeenschap, zeggen ze hier. En waar de president zijn rug naar de immigranten keert, keren zij hun rug niet naar Amerika.
We're not gonna let him win. We're gonna stay here. We're gonna fight for what we want. That's not gonna stop us. We're just gonna prove him that he's wrong.
How are you gonna prove him wrong?
By doing what I'm good at, getting good grades, getting a good GPA, keep studying.
Becoming an astronaut?
Exactly.
Would that feel like some kind of...
In
you
your
know,
face, you know.
In your face?
Yeah. Yeah, like that. That's my plan. Just doing what I already intended to do. And yeah, just show him he's wrong.
He's not very well educated. So that's another way that we win. And I tell my students, I could be a better president just because I'm educated. You can be a better president. So I think one of the positive things that came about from him being elected is that we woke up. I can do it. If he did it, and he doesn't know basic facts about government and history, why shouldn't I? So I think we're angry and we're active now, and we're much more aware of what we can do.
She wants to be an astronaut, not president.
Oh yeah, but
you should run
still.
for president.
Yes, please.
Why not?
Yes, please.
NTR, speciaal voor iedereen.